2 at once? Wow.
Were you expecting this?
Shut up. You're having twins?
Twins? Well, I guess that means double trouble.
So you're going to need 2 of everything?
Welcome, friends, to Season 2, Episode 2. If you've not had a chance yet to listen to our birth story, please go back and listen to it wherever you're at in your pregnancy, whether you're still pregnant or you've recently delivered. I promise you it's such a good laugh. I had so many people write me and say that they loved having my husband on the podcast, and they asked if he was going to be in future episodes, which I just had to laugh about because do we live in a man's world or what? Like, us women, here we are, we're doing all the work, we're doing the pregnancy, we're laboring, we're delivering, we're raising, we're feeding, and my husband's getting the credit here. People are saying, oh, he's so funny. So I agree. That's why I married him. But sadly, friends, you just get yours truly today. But we will bring him back for another episode. But again, go listen to that. So many shared laughs. Especially listen to that if you are pregnant and you're nervous about labor and delivery. Hopefully it will bring some lightheartedness to the whole process. I think that labor has become like such a serious topic and such a serious energy around it. Obviously, I understand why. There can be many complications. We have been told from day one to finding out we are pregnant with multiples. But I hope through this episode, the birth episode, and I hope through this podcast that we can just remember also the miracle of birth, and hopefully our birth episode inspires you to add some fun and some flavor into your birth experience, whether that's songs, whether that's movement, just some humor. I think that it really helped us get through the process. So season 1, really all about being pregnant. But again, if you are currently pregnant, I encourage you go listen to that episode. So here we are. I don't have a clue how I have 6-week-old babies. This is crazy. Time has completely flown by. The days are so slow and long, but the weeks are truly flying by. With our singleton, a lot of people told us, take it day by day when we were stressed out. With the twins, many people have said, take it hour by hour, and I fully understand that now. This is a whole different beast. It's a whole different beast. I don't want to put the fear of God in any moms that have not yet delivered or they're about to deliver and they're like, okay, what can I expect when I bring these babies home? But I'm not going to lie. I promised you guys I would never lie on this podcast. This shit is hard. It is hard. It is also simultaneously rewarding, but I am coming to you on this mic completely exhausted in my jammies. It's 2:00. I don't think I've brushed my teeth today. My hair, it's a vision. Maybe I'll post a photo of my beautiful hair right now. And I have those little eye patch things under my eyes because I constantly have bags under my eyes. If you're feeling that same way, I got you, Mom. I'm here for you. This is wild. This is crazy. My least favorite part so far of having these wonderful little blessings in our house the past 6 weeks has been so many people that have not had twins giving me lots of unsolicited advice on twins. If you're in that same boat, we've been here before. We heard all the comments when we were pregnant, so just bite your tongue, just smile, and just let it go. I don't know what universe people think having 1 newborn is the same as having 2 newborns. Also, the same 2 newborns is not the same as 3 newborns. So for any of those mamas out there that have 3 babies, you are truthfully, well, we're all goddesses, let's admit it. But yeah, I am very sick of the advice of people. Well, I had 3 kids. I know what you've been through. No. You had Charlie, Matt, and little Katie, and they were all 3 years apart, baby. It's a way different story right now. So that has been an interesting challenge to blow off these past couple weeks. I decided for this episode, I just want to give some tips and tricks for things that have worked for us, things that have not worked for us, and really how we have gotten through these past 6 weeks. I want to start by just sharing something that I wrote on Instagram. This is kind of a little snapshot into what my 4th trimester postpartum recovery has been so far. I feel very fortunate that I do not have postpartum depression, but I definitely have postpartum blues. That's kind of what I'm calling it. So let me just dive in and read this. I wanted to be that mom, calm, capable, unshaken in the 4th trimester, the one who proved everyone wrong when they said, it's going to be hard, the wife who could handle the babies all day and still have dinner on the table by 6. Turns out, I am not that mom. I haven't cooked a single meal. I need Ryan's help hourly. I've cried, lost my cool, and yep, those people were right. This is wildly hard. The truth of the 4th trimester is it's messy, it's lonely, it's milk leaks, hormone crashes, burning eyes from no sleep, and tears in the shower. It's your body not feeling like yours, guilt for everything, and wondering if you're doing anything right. You're healing while keeping 2 tiny humans alive, whispering to yourself, just get through the next hour. And somehow you do. Postpartum isn't glamorous, but it's glorious in its own raw, messy way. So if you're in it, you're not failing. You're human. And the wildest part, you do it all over again, twice. The mess, the pain, and the tears. Not because it's easy, but because love and survival somehow coexist in this wild, raw season, with love conquering all. I'm going to read that part again. But because love and survival somehow coexist in this wild, raw season, with love conquering all. That kind of sums up how these last 6 weeks have been, but my favorite part of that whole post is the part that love and survival are coexisting together. I think it's okay to love these little babies so much that you just look at them and your heart is bursting and you're like, wow, I've never felt like love like this before in my life, while simultaneously crying while rocking them because you're like, how am I going to do this? I am in a space right now where I need other moms around me that are giving it to me real, giving it to me raw. I love those moms out there that are like, everything's great, we're perfect, nothing's going wrong, I've never been more in love with my baby, my husband is absolutely amazing. I love you. That's not the space I'm in right now, so I have to kind of protect my bubble of all of that is true. I love my babies. I love my husband. He has super dad. I am beyond grateful for these babies. I feel so blessed they're healthy. But at the same time, I need other mamas in my circle that are like, hell yeah, this is so hard. So hopefully I can be that mama for you right now. All right, let's dive into it. My first little tip, bringing baby home. If you have other kids at home, you probably have done this before if you have more than one kid. If you only have one kid at home, which was our case, I don't think we were prepared for really how that was going to look when we brought the twins home. Mind you, Jude, our oldest, was 14 months, well, about 14, 15 months when we brought the twins home. We really envisioned like him, almost like a movie, him like running up to the twins and like throwing his arms open and being like, oh, my brothers, my babies. No, instead it was like him throwing temper tantrums nonstop for 3 days. I feel very fortunate it was only 3 days because I've met other moms who like, I reached out to my friends and I was like, what's going on? Jude's possessed. I don't know who this child is, but he's not mine. And they went through it for weeks. So I feel very fortunate we only had it for a few days. But it was very, very hard for Jude to understand that now he was not the center of our entire world and he couldn't demand our attention at all times. We're like very hands-on parents. We love to play with our kids. We love to eat with them, interact. That's just us. We're not like an iPad TV type of family. So that was challenging for Jude. My advice would be find a way to involve your other child. So we gave Jude little tasks. Did he suck at them? 100%. He's 15 months old. But we'd say to him, okay, Jude, you hold the diaper. All right, buddy, hold the pacifier, which, by the way, always ended up in his mouth. And then he'd hand it back to us. All right, buddy, can you help me pick out an outfit today? We really just tried to involve him. It didn't go great in the beginning. He would just throw the diaper. He bit through a few pacifiers. It's getting better. It's getting better. He loves his brothers now. He calls him baby, baby. He wakes up in the morning, pretty much runs into the room every day. He always wakes up before them, but you know what? I don't care. I let him run in there. I figure if he wakes him up, who cares? He's showing enthusiasm and excitement for the boys, which honestly, it's worth it if he wakes him up, in my opinion. He likes to share Cheerios with them, which explaining to a 15-month-old that a baby can't have a Cheerio when Cheerios are like Jude's favorite thing. So in his mind, he's like, Mom, I'm doing the nicest thing ever for these boys. Anyways, it has gotten a lot better, but I just want to prepare you mamas that it might not be that way when you bring them home. And yes, there's like a million tips and tricks on like integrating, new children into your household. I know a lot of people have recommended have the babies, give him a gift. I think it really depends on the age of your other child. Jude's 15 months old. He doesn't understand gifts yet. He's not even really excited about them. He'll open up a toy and be like, cool, and then move back on to like playing with a prime box. So I think that you'll have to find out what works for you, but I think just mentally, I wish I would have been more prepared for him to not be excited. And actually, like, it kind of broke my heart when I was feeding one of the twins or holding them or cuddling them, and he'd come up and put his arms up and he wanted me to cuddle him. That was hard. Like, I felt like a bad mom. I will say I always feel like none of my kids are ever getting all of me. I'm either playing with Jude and the twins are crying, or I'm feeding one twin and the other one's crying because they want to eat, or, the balance of that. I feel like I'm always giving everybody like 30% of me, because then the other part of my mind is thinking, okay, what are we having for dinner? When did the twins eat last? Okay, do I need to change Jude's diaper? So I'm really working on being more present when I am feeding and rocking one baby, even if the other one is crying. I am working on remembering, okay, you're giving life and nutrients to one baby. Let's just focus your energy on that baby. The other baby will be fine. But I can't let my mind be so scatterbrained trying to give everybody a little piece of me, or no one's really getting the full me. The other thing we learned when we brought the babies home that I honestly think I want to spray paint this on our bedroom wall is the only thing constant is change. The only thing constant is change. We've had so many changes in this first 6 weeks. Like, we think, oh, this is going to work. Nope, this doesn't work anymore. Oh, this baby likes this. Nope, baby doesn't like that. So being flexible is so important when you bring these babies home. If you have not prepared a meal train yet or given that task to one of your close friends or a family member, you are going to want the meals. We have not cooked a single meal in 6 weeks. And if I'm being honest, I haven't had a second to cook a meal in 6 weeks. If I have time to make scrambled eggs in the morning for the family, that's like a win. I pat myself on the back. I'm like, hell yeah, Mom, like strong start to the day. So make sure you're prepared, either meals in the freezer. There are some wonderful meal delivery services that I will go ahead and post on my social media. If you want to order food that way, of course, there's Uber too, but there's some also really good ones out there. But let people bring you meals. If people say to you, hey, how can I help you? Say meals, and just be accepting of the meals. My other tip for you is make sure you and your partner know where you stand on visitors. We went through a lot of these growing pains with visitors when we got home from the hospital with Jude. So we were a little more prepared for how we wanted to handle it this time. But I am that mom that doesn't want to look at a single person after I have my baby, except for my husband, my mother, my mother-in-law, and my sisters for like a solid 8 weeks. That is just who I am. We're now 6 weeks, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready for you to come over. And these are like some of my closest friends. That is my take on it. It's a little bit of one, I'm in this little recovery bubble that I want to stay in this precious little time with the 5 of us is so short in the grand scheme of things. That's part 1. Part 2 is sicknesses. We delivered, September 10th. So we're coming up on flu season, COVID season, RSV, all that type of stuff. So personally, I'm just kind of like, I'm treading that lightly. I also understand that my babies need love. They do. They need love. And people just want to shower me and those babies with love. So I'm moving into more of a space of, yes, please come over, hold my babies, rub my back. Let people take care of you too. I think it's really hard when everyone walks in the door and everyone just runs to the babies and wants to know, how are the babies doing? And, tell me more about the babies. Let me hold the baby. Here's a toy for the baby. When the truth is, like, that's all wonderful and great, but mommy, you need some love too. So make sure you have a couple people in your circle that you can reach out to and say, hey, babies are fine. I need some love. I had a friend, I ran into her the other day at the chiropractor. Her name's Tiffany. I love her more than anything. I went up to her and gave her a big hug. She literally just rubbed my back for 2 minutes and I almost cried. It was just so, so nice. It felt like she was transferring love and Reiki and good energy, and I needed that so badly. So make sure, mama, you're also taking care of yourself. All right, let's move on to sleeping. Sleeping. Twins and sleeping feels like an oxymoron. Am I right? There is no schedule the first 6 weeks. That's what we have decided. There's no rhyme. There's no reason. They don't know day from night. They don't know up from down. One is awake, one is not. They're all over the place. They are all over the place. So therefore, we're all over the place and we're exhausted. I am someone that needs a lot of sleep. Like, I need 8 to 9 hours, 7 days a week. If there was an 8th day of the week, I'd try to cram in another 10 hours. So that's been a challenge for us. Thankfully, my husband does not require a ton of sleep. So bless his soul, he's been taking on a bigger portion of the night work. But I will say, if you have this dream of in the first 6 weeks getting your baby on this perfect sleep schedule, props to you. If you figure it out, let me know, because that ain't happening in the Swanson household. We thought for sure we would co-sleep. Twins don't like it, turns out. They are not co-sleepers. They do not want to sleep in between mom and dad. They want to sleep in their crib together, head to head, nose to nose, which is so sweet. I'm grateful that they love their room. I'm grateful that they love the crib, because that's going to make it a heck of a lot easier when we crib train and transition them fully to sleeping in the crib. But lazy old me, that requires me to go up and down stairs in the middle of the night, and they also feel like really far away. So my husband's been sleeping in the nursery because I'm not quite ready to have them an entire floor below us, an entire different side of the house, and in a different bedroom. We are doing shift work. One way you can handle it, friends. So my husband does 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. and then I do 2 a.m. to 7 a.m. So essentially, we both are for sure getting 5 hours of sleep. Now, there comes on my end the 9 to 2. Like, it can kind of just depend. Sometimes I'm having to get up to pump. My body is slowly starting to figure out, okay, we're going to go 1 5-hour stretch without breastfeeding, without pumping. It's slowly starting to figure that out. But give yourself patience. Give yourself some grace if your body is like, no, I'm only going to go 3 hours and then you must pump, because probably that's your feeding schedule during the day. So your body is also trying to figure out how to regulate your milk, at what time to make more, at what time to make less. But shift sleeping it's saved us both. It's saved our marriage. I think it's only going to get better as the twins get a little bit older. But I think some of this, it's got to fall on your partner as well, friends. Remember, you are also healing, and it's very hard for your body to heal when you're getting no sleep. I love that old quote, sleep when your baby sleeps during the day. In theory, that's wonderful. Realistically, when the twins are sleeping, I'm either playing with Jude, or I'm washing bottles, I'm doing laundry, I'm cleaning up our house, I'm quickly taking a shower, I'm responding to 75 text messages I've ignored for the last week, I'm paying bills. It's hard to sleep every time they sleep, but I'm doing my best to squeeze in a nap here and there. If you can, do the same. One last thing for sleeping, if you can, treat yourself to a night nurse. In our area, it's $55 an hour, and they require an 8-hour minimum. So mamas, it ain't cheap, but we did treat ourselves to a night nurse for the first time the other day. I have mixed feelings about it, because it meant my husband got a great night's sleep, but I still had to get up and pump all the time. So I was kind of like, okay, I feel like I'm paying a lot of money to still be woken up intermittently throughout the night. But I still think it's worth it. If it's in your budget, do it. Reach out. We found our night nurse via our doula. She came highly recommended for twins. If you'd like suggestions on where to find night nurses, shoot me a DM. We have a couple of resources. It is nice. They come to your house. They wash bottles for you. Some of them fold laundry, and a few of them even make a meal in the middle of the night so you have dinner for the next day. Ours did not do that. I think she washed bottles. She did not fold laundry. But yeah, I think a lot of them make a meal for you. So like that's kind of a score too. Maybe it's worth it. Again, I was just like, I'm getting up pumping. Like this seems silly, but if it's in the budget, treat yourself. Other twin moms I've met, they did a night nurse 1 day a week for the first, I think they said like 6 months. And they said it was just like a little bit of a saving grace. It gave them something to look forward to. Like every Tuesday, we know for sure we're going to get a good night's sleep. So maybe one idea for you. All right, moving to the next topic, feeding. First of all, shout out to the Twin Z pillow. If you do not have a Twin Z pillow, go and buy it right now. It is wonderful for breastfeeding, either both babies at once, one baby at a time. It's also great to prop them in when you're bottle feeding them. This pillow, like we bring it everywhere. Like if we're going to someone's house, it's like, okay, pack the pillow. It has been my favorite accessory with twins so far. It goes like my favorite thing is the twins. My second favorite thing is the Twin Z pillow. I absolutely love it. Go buy it. And no, they did not sponsor this podcast. I just feel that passionately about it. We have been working around the clock to get our twins on the same feeding schedule. Some people will say, don't bother, you'll kill yourself doing this. I will say it has not been that hard for us. I don't want to be feeding all day, every day. I already feel like I'm doing that with breastfeeding. So I want my twins on the same feeding schedule. Right now, they're feeding every 2 to 3 hours. We did not have babies that had to go to NICU or had any like really preemie issues. They are both gaining weight just fine. So we're kind of sticking to the 2 to 3 hour schedule. Typically, we don't have to wake them. They wake on their own and they're both ready to eat and you know. But talk to your pediatrician, see if you need to have them on a different schedule. They might have you feeding every hour and a half. It really just depends on the baby. But I do recommend trying to get them on the same schedule. It's hard in the beginning. It's been hard for us so far. But as we're, moving into week 7, I can already tell that it is paying off. Because without a doubt, they wake up at the same time. They both get screaming at the same time, which can be a little bit frustrating when, for me, it's like I have this guilt because I'm feeding one and the other one's screaming. But at the same time, I'm so glad that I'm then getting a break in between feedings. Tandem feeding, what the hell? That is so hard. That is so hard. Yes, it's super cool. I've done it a few times. It is difficult, man, to get them all propped up, situated, both of them like perfectly latching, staying on the nipple, milk flowing, your back not breaking, your arms. Oh my gosh, it's so hard. Don't kill yourself over trying to figure out how to tandem feed. If you have slow eaters that really take their time, which I know is more common with girls, then you might want to perfect tandem feeding so you're not spending, 40 minutes feeding each baby, 20 minutes on each side. But if you have fast barracuda eaters, we call them, I wouldn't worry about tandem feeding. It is difficult. I wish it was easier. There's different positions you can try. It could just be my boobs too, if I'm being honest. Some of the twin moms we've met that have larger chests say tandem feeding is not that hard for them. Maybe it's just my breast size. I don't know. Whenever I do it, I do feel like the mom from The Incredibles, though. I do feel pretty badass. I'm like, this is crazy. I grew these humans, I birthed them, and now I'm feeding them both at the same time. Wow. Like, where is Denzel Washington? I feel like he should be walking in the room and like giving a motivational speech to a crowd about how amazing I am. Yes, Denzel Washington. He's my favorite. Love him. I also suggest pumping. pump, 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 mamas, so that someone else can bottle feed for you and you can have a little bit of a break. Pumping for me takes, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes, usually closer to 10 minutes. I just prop the pump on both breasts, turn it on high, and I have enough milk for 2 bottles right away. It is a lot easier than breastfeeding. I like breastfeeding because, of course, I love the feedback loop. Their saliva sends messages to your breast milk so that it changes. For example, if the baby's hot, has a fever, the milk will be cold. There's so many amazing things about breast milk. Like I'm truthfully, I'm the biggest proponent of breastfeeding. So I know that it's important to also have the baby latch, but at least once a day, let yourself pump, let someone else give the bottle. It is quite a little relief. Now, like I said, I'm a big proponent of breastfeeding. I think it's so, so important that mamas at least try. I know it's hard. It can be painful. It's a lot of damn work. It is so much work. I think they said like with one baby, you breastfeed 1,800 hours in 1 year. So let's go ahead and double that, maybe even plus some for twins. That's like 3,000 hours a year we're breastfeeding a baby. But it's so good for the baby. It's also a huge money saver. Huge money saver. I plugged them before in season 1, but I'm going to say it again. Reach out to the lactation network. You put your insurance in. They make it super simple. They match you with a lactation consultant. In our case, she comes to our house. So she's been coming to our house every week since the twins were born. I can text her whenever I need to. She has been such a resource for us. I really credit so much of my breastfeeding success to her. So please, friends, reach out. Just give it a try. I am not judging any moms, though, that are like, I can't do this. I do believe, however you're getting your baby fed, props to you, mama. If that happens to be formula, I get it. I totally get it. Not here to judge anybody. I am just saying, if you're starting this journey, you just brought your babies home, or you're like, this is so hard. Yes, it is hard. It gets easier. I have 0 pain now with my baby's breastfeeding, and I really don't think I've had any pain since probably week 3 or 4. In the beginning, there was a little bit of stinging, a little bit of burning. I think the boys were trying to figure out how to latch too. We have to remember these little babies just entered the world and they don't know everything yet. So their latch can be a little weird. There can be some clicking. You got to check for a tongue tie, which a lactation consultant will do too. All this is to say, I'm not a breastfeeding expert, but if you're having problems breastfeeding, please reach out to the Lactation Network, or also just Google. I think another one is called Wildflower. Reach out to the hospital you delivered at. Ask your pediatrician. A lot of pediatrician offices, I think that's how you say it, or pediatric offices, whatever, they bring lactation consultants in like 2 times a month, and you can just go and visit with them. So there's lots of resources available to mamas if you're having a hard time. We did have to buy some donor's milk when we first brought the boys home. My supply was just a little bit low. It hadn't kicked in yet. If you remember, I had that postpartum preeclampsia scare. So I was in the hospital for a few days without the babies, which I think kind of just threw my body for a loop. So you can buy donor's milk, but it ain't cheap. It ain't cheap. Maybe for Christmas, we should all ask for like donor's milk and night nurses. My biggest tip and trick with anything with breast milk is watch out for signs of intolerances in your milk in your babies. We found out that both Bo and Callan cannot handle dairy and they cannot handle nuts. Now, I knew what signs to look for because we went through this with Jude, but I was eating dairy, having milk in my coffee. We were having charcuterie boards every now and then, lasagna, mac and cheese. And then I am a squirrel. I eat nuts all day long, all the time. It's ridiculous how much peanut butter I go through in a week. It's embarrassing. So we knew what to look for, but after they would eat, they would be kicking, grunting. They were not sleeping at night. And this started right around 4 weeks. Now, your pediatrician and likely your lactation consultant will say to you, no, babies don't start having intolerances until 6 to 8 weeks. I am sorry, I call BS on that. I knew right away at 4 weeks the boys could not handle either of these 2 items. So I eliminated them from my diet. Took 2 weeks for the dairy and the nuts to essentially leave my body and make sure there was none in my breast milk. And friends, it was night and day, night and day. We didn't have the constipation, the grunting in the middle of the night, the screaming uncontrollably, the arching of the back, turning red in the face. These are all signs to look for that your baby has an intolerance to what you are eating. Some other common intolerances are soy. That's another one that babies can't have. Yeah, I think those are the three most common, I think, is dairy, nuts, and soy. Now, there's other little things that sure do make the boys mad. If I have Brussels sprouts, they're not happy. If I have beans, they are very, very angry at me. Their farts are horrific, and they actually get constipated with beans, which is funny. You would think it's the opposite. So there's little things that I've noticed that I look out for now. So just pay attention to that. If you have any questions, please let me know. I swear I have become like a baby intolerance expert, or I just credit myself with that, but I'll have friends send me videos or text me and be like, hey, you know, Chloe's doing this or Charlie's doing this. And I'm like, yeah, I hate to break it to you, mama. I think it's dairy. So a lot of my friends that are breastfeeding are off dairy right now. It's temporary, friends. It doesn't mean it's forever. Jude was able to start having dairy right around 8 months. He outgrew the intolerance, and then nuts he was able to have by like 10 months. So it's just like while their GI tracts are trying to figure life out. Your doctor might prescribe you Pepcid. Your doctor might say, oh, you know, your baby is showing signs of colic. Your baby is showing signs of spitting up, of intolerances. Take Pepcid. I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, my unsolicited advice as someone who is not a doctor, do not give that stuff to your baby. Don't do it. I think that doctors are wonderful. They're necessary, but they over prescribe stuff. Don't give your baby Pepcid. They kept telling us to put Bo on Pepcid all the time. Put him on Pepcid, put him on Pepcid. We have not put him on Pepcid, and Bo's stomach has completely figured out how to handle breast milk and whatever I'm eating, obviously aside from dairy and nuts. So that's just I know that's my unsolicited advice. I'm sorry, but I think I asked, you know, hey, how do we know that it's acid reflux and that we should be giving Bo Pepcid? To which my doctor said, we don't know. We just prescribe it to like 90% of babies and it helps, which my jaw actually dropped. And I've switched doctors now because I'm like, that's crazy. That's crazy. Like, you're just saying, I don't know, but we'll just give it a try and see what happens. Like, no, my little baby is like fresh. He just got Earthside. I'm not going to start pumping him with prescription Pepcid. My biggest tip, friends, across the board for all of these little things, I know there's the saying, never wake a sleeping baby. I believe this is true in, you know, traditional circumstances, but with twins, I'm going to go ahead and disagree with that. They are doing everything at the same time, and I'm programming them that way, or at least trying to. We're putting them down for naps at the same time. We're feeding them at the same time. We're doing tummy time, wake hours, all that at the same time for my own sanity. So that would be my overall tip throughout all of these categories, is just try to get them on the same schedule. All right, mamas, those are just my tips and tricks for the first 6 weeks. Be prepared for a lot of doctor's appointments. There's a lot, you know, the day they're born, 48 hours after they're born, 72 hours after they're born. I mean, it was a lot. We've been to the doctor a lot, but I know those will start to taper down. Be prepared for that. Of course, be prepared for the hormone swings. Like I said, I didn't get postpartum depression, but there's been some major hormone swings and drops and just, a lot. So just be prepared for that and give yourself grace. Have like your person that you're going to reach out to when you're kind of losing it. There's been several times I've just had to step outside, shut the door so I don't hear crying, and take a couple deep breaths. I've called my sister, I don't know how many times, crying, and just said, like, I can't do this. So thank you, Ashley, for being my sounding board and telling me I'm not crazy, but rather this is so hard. And then breastfeeding, feeding. It's all we do. I feel like this whole experience should be called breastfeeding with a little bit of baby fun on the side, because it's It's all I do is just feed, 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 feed. But what a blessing to be able to give life to these babies solely through my body. I think that that's truthfully amazing. But with that comes you needing to be very hydrated, mamas. So buy the tabs, make sure you're drinking so much water that you actually kind of feel like you're waterboarding yourself. Because that is so important for these little babies. And then last thing, friends, remember to have fun with this. This is such a stressful time. All the twin moms I've met that, their twins are maybe 9 months or a year or even 3 or 4 years old, they've all said to me this first year, it's like Guantanamo Bay. It's crazy. It's so hard. But all of them said to me, I wish I would have remembered to slow down and like really enjoy rocking my baby or really enjoy watching them grow a little bit more instead of just racing through everything because it's always kind of stressful and people are always crying and screaming and the house is a mess. So that is my focus for these next 6 weeks because I have not been great about it the first 6 weeks of their life. Just slowing down. Sometimes I like to think of myself, an 80-year-old version of Abigail sitting in a rocking chair. She comes into her house. It's very clean. It's quiet. It's calm. I'm not stepping on any Legos. There's not bottles stacked up in the sink. There's not Disney lullabies playing in the background. And I know the 80-year-old version of myself, I can get so emotional thinking about this. We'll probably stand at the kitchen sink, look out the window, look into the backyard, and remember the boys chasing each other and swinging, and I'll miss that. So friends, it is so hard. You might feel like you're in the trenches right now too, but it's temporary. And just maybe think about that when you go to bed at night. The 80-year-old version of yourself is going to look back on this and you're going to want one more day. Lucky for us, we have many more days to come. All right, as always, mamas, I love you. Partners of mamas, I love you too. I'm sure you're being such a great support system. All right, friends, lots of love. You've got this. You're not only surviving, you are thriving.